Thank you, Janice, for all your hard work putting the conference together and everybody who's worked on it. My name is Sarah Rang. I'm the Executive Director of the Invasive Species Centre, and I'm here really just to present to you a project that we're working on collaboratively and really to seek your advice and gauge your level of interest in participating as well. So thank you, Brittany, for putting it up. I am presenting, but really it is a collaborative that is part of this work, and really it is, that's the most important thing, is it's a collaborative, and we're hoping that many of you might be interested in joining with us in this collaborative. So next slide, please, Brittany. Or maybe I can do it myself. Just in case you're not familiar with the Invasive Species Centre, we are a nonprofit headquartered in Sault Ste. Marie. And like many of you in this room today, we share your interest in protecting and preventing the spread of invasive species. Next slide, please. Just to offer you some resources, we have recently refreshed our website and added some new resources. So there are a variety of different things there that you might find helpful in your daily work on invasives. So don't hesitate to check that out. Next slide, please, Brittany. Really, I'm here on behalf of the Green Shovels Collaborative, and that is a group of 6 conservation organizations who kind of share an interest in invasive species. And I'm very pleased that we've come together. We all have slightly different niches in terms of where we work and how we do our work, but we all have a commonality in the sense of we want to see action on terms of invasive species. This work is the result of Ducks Unlimited, FOCA, Nature Conservancy, OFAH, and the Turtle Conservation Centre, and ourselves, the Invasive Species Centre, who helps coordinate the effort. But it really is a group and common and collaborative effort. And we are really very conscious of the expertise that is in the room today, and really hopeful that we'll be able to harness a lot of that expertise in terms of building this Green Shovels Collaborative. And I just want to give a shout out to Janice Gilbert and OIPC, and also Eric Cleland from the Nature Conservancy, who are leading a lot of the work on FRAG, which I'll be speaking. Next slide, please. Sorry, I think there's a bit of a lag time between slides, so yeah. What Green Shovels is we got together, almost 9 months ago as organizations, and we were putting together a menu of shovel-ready and shovel-worthy projects as inputs to both the federal and provincial stimulus and job creation planning efforts. We worked together, each one of us put forward projects into the pot, and we found that there was a lot of common interest in many different projects. So we put together a menu of 11 projects, and with a sort of investment value of around 50 million. And we also noted the job creation potential as well, because as many of you know, these projects employ a lot of people directly and indirectly. We then met with a large number of federal and provincial government representatives, and we're very pleased to say that the Ontario government, through MNRF, funded 2 of our projects in terms of the Phragmites and the new tools. So many thanks for that investment into Green Shovels, and we're here to talk to you about those 2 projects today. Next slide, please. So the 2 projects that were funded are Phragmites Strategy and New Tools. So the Phragmites Strategy is really going to involve a lot of common agenda and collaborative thinking in terms of trying to improve the coordination and implementation of Phragmites management in Ontario. And just to acknowledge the huge amount of work that many groups in this conference, in this room, have done on Phragmites. And it really is about trying to weave some of that work together in terms of a bigger framework and a collaborative kind of effort. So it's designed to build on those very noble and worthy local efforts in terms of designing a bigger picture vision for Phragmites management. The second project is Innovative Tools. We're taking a look at some new tools that might be of use to invasive species managers and trying to really invest in the sort of high priority new tools that we see are of great need. Next slide, please. So I'll just tell you a little bit about the Phragmites strategy, and it really has a couple of different objectives and a couple of different pieces that are rolling. We are working to describe the current state of Phragmites in Ontario, which is 3 sort of case studies. And we're also working to develop a long-term framework for frag management in Ontario. And this is really about, sewing together those individual sort of quilt pieces into a kind of coordinated regional level approach. The third part that we're working on is to really demonstrate the value of investing in prevention and control, sharing ideas around communication, and really starting to enable on-the-ground action for many community groups, which might be one of yours today in terms of supporting action on the ground. Next slide. The first part that we're doing is the current state of Phragmites management in Ontario. And this is really led by the Nature Conservancy of Canada under Eric Cleland's leadership, and with expert help from a large number of different partners, including many who are participating today. So basically, it's a case study approach, up to 3 different case studies, examining the different parts of Phragmites management, the cost, the benefits, the type of stewardship that's involved, the governance structure, those things. And this is really just to kind of set the scene and really to acknowledge the huge amount of work that is already underway. Next slide, please. The next part that we're working on is this Phragmites management framework. And again, this is led by NCC with help from a large number of different partners. And the idea here is to propose a long-term framework for Phragmites management in Ontario that allows this kind of coordinated regional level approach. So we're identifying the long-term goals and visions. We're also trying to make the plan reasonable and doable and scalable. And for that, we're looking at potentially an idea on how could we sequence the implementation efforts so that we're starting in geographies that are either gaps or supporting areas that are very needy of support as well. So that's the second piece. Next slide, please. The third piece is really about building the case for Phragmites investment. And this piece is about, building a compelling business case in terms of documenting why we should be taking action in terms of Phragmites management. So it involves, this is led by the Invasive Species Centre, but really with help from numerous other people as well. And it really is about providing a cost-benefit analysis, not just a good sense of the costs, which we all know can be very variable site to site, but also a great sense of the benefits. So providing us all with the information that we can use in terms of why investment in Phragmites is needed and warranted and makes good business sense. Next slide, please. So that is really the Phragmites project. How does it work on the ground? We're grateful that MNRF has provided some funds to ISC that help fund the Phragmites strategy, and that fans out pretty quickly in terms of the different components that you see here of the project, and each project has a different lead. NCC is the Nature Conservancy of Canada, ISC is the Invasive Species Centre. That these are really leads, and really they do just reflect the person who's coordinating the effort, but really the effort is a broad scale collaborative effort of many different partners, including most of the folks in the room today. Next slide, please. So that's the FRAG project. It's rolling pretty fast. We've started it quite quickly, and we're hoping to have some good products sort of by March, April kind of time frame as well. And then, it's really going to require a lot of care and feeding as well over the summer. So the second part of the Green Shovels project is this innovative tools. And again, this might be of interest to some of you, your organizations. Really, there's a kind of a revolution going on in terms of tools that we use and need to use for invasive species. So how can we get a better sense of what the needs are of invasive species managers, the gaps? So we'll be running a little survey on that and appreciate your help on that. And then we're going to foster the further development of a couple of selected high priority tools. So these are some of the genomic eDNA kind of tools that have been in development and have great potential, I think, in terms of invasive species monitoring. Some groups are looking at improving community science for wild pig detection. That's led by OFAH. We're working in terms of mapping and expanding and making some changes to EdMaps, which is an online digital mapping program. So that will allow people to map more easily in the field and also to share information among different mapping platforms as well. And ISE is drawing on their experience in terms of forest and working on forest invasive pest training as well. So those projects are up and running, and I'm hoping that they'll produce information that will be helpful to you and your organization as well. Next slide. So that's a little bit of a snapshot in terms of the Green Shovels project. If you're interested, here's some ideas of how to be involved in the project. We're really working very hard on the cost-benefit equation. So along with OIPC and the Ontario Phragmites Working Group and a number of other groups, there is a survey that is now out. So please, if you wouldn't mind taking the time to do the Phragmites survey, that'll really help us give a sense of good costs and benefits data that we can then translate into making a business case for investment. If you're interested, don't hesitate to reach out to one of the Green Shovels partners. If you have questions or you need more information, or if you could offer your assistance and expertise, that would be great. We're going to be needing some assistance in terms of promoting the Phragmites Strategy and any of the Green Shovels projects through your networks in terms of the summer. We'll be hosting a Green Shovels webinar where you can learn more about it in the summer, so please stay tuned for that. And really, we're looking for your help in terms of implementing parts of the Phragmites Strategy, because really the Phragmites Strategy is about a common agenda that's collaboratively delivered. So each one of us can have a part in terms of delivering the Phragmites Strategy in their landscape and in their way as well. But those little pieces will grow together into kind of a big jigsaw of action. So that's kind of the if you're interested in implementing one part, please let us know. Next slide, please. So this is just how to, next slide, please. If you want some more information, don't hesitate to visit the ISE website to sign up for different products. Sorry, next slide again. And then this is just I'll just end with this one, which is the Green Shovels Collaborative. If you wouldn't mind putting up the last slide again, Brittany, that would be great. It just lets you know how to get in contact with us if you have any questions, or if you're interested in supporting our efforts or implementing any of the different parts of it. So don't hesitate to reach out to any of the groups on this list or folks on this list as well. So I'll close there. That was a very big overview of a big project that's rolling fairly quickly, and really looking for your collaborative assistance and advice in any way. So I'll close there and pass it back to Janice.
Sarah, that is just such an exciting project. I can't tell you how happy that makes me feel. When I first heard about it, it's absolutely going to move the yardstick for us. No question about it. This province is going to look so different in the next 7 to 10 years, just based on, your approach to this. And I'm so appreciative of that. Thank you so much for your efforts to get this going, and all of your partners. It's just fantastic. I hope those folks that just learned about this are as excited as I am. There are a couple of questions that have come up here on the side. I think what is the length of time for Green Shovels initiative? Is it over multiple years?
That's a great question. It is rolling pretty quickly in the beginning. So we are hoping to have some sort of draft products ready by early spring. But of course, the effort is a multi-year effort. As many of you know who've been working on FRAG for a decade or more, you know that you have to continue the effort. So we are seeing it as a multiple year effort. We are starting fairly quickly and in terms of developing some of the products fairly quickly. So you'll see quite a few of the products coming out in early spring, early summer, and hoping for your sense of that, and then continuing kind of over time as well. So it's a quick start, a big quick start, and opening, you know, realize that it requires multiple year kind of commitment as well.
There's another question, actually has quite a bit of interest. Is anyone working on reducing salt and nutrients that feed FRAG? I don't know if that it's specifically a question for you, Sarah.
Well,
anyway.
I'll defer to some of the other experts who are, such as yourself, Janice, on that one. Yeah.
Yeah, it's certainly a big, from my perspective, I mean, nutrient input into the wetlands is certainly a big deal. I don't, you know, from our approach for controlling FRAG, I don't know that that's really, from my, like, there's a lot of things we can, it's very important to control it. But anyway, obviously it's an important question. Maybe we'll leave that up there for discussion later in the day. Are there any other questions for Sarah while we have her undivided attention on our screen? Thanks again, Sarah, so much. So this is just such exciting news, and just a great program. I hope everyone that's available to provide whatever information you can. It's really going to help improve the products here and how much we can get done. So, thank you.
Great. No, my pleasure. Yeah.